Hello everyone, good morning. Today I'm going to discuss about sample curriculum program evaluation. We have first the instructional material review. Excuse me. To evaluate the effectiveness of the instructional material in a particular subject or course. First, we have the collection of data. Gather data from various sources such as student feedback, teachers' observations, test scores, and curriculum alignment. In student feedback, the teacher will distribute surveys or questionnaires to students asking about their experience with the instructional materials. Next is the teacher observations. The teacher will observe the how students engage in the instructional material during the lessons. Then we have the test scores. Analyze test scores to see if the students are achieving the learning objectives. Then we have the curriculum alignment. Compare the material to the curriculum guidelines to ensure it aligns well. Then we have next is the analysis of data. Analyze the data to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the instructional material in terms of content alignment with curriculum objectives, clarify an organization of content, engagement and interest of students, effectiveness in promoting student learning. In the alignment of with curriculum objectives, the teacher will determine if the instructional materials covers the topic outlined in the curriculum. Then, clarify an organization of content. The teacher will ensure that his or her instructional materials um, is presented in a clear and organized manner for students to easily understand. Then, engagement and interest of students. As a teacher, you are going to make sure that the materials keep students interested and involved in learning. Then, effectiveness in promoting student learning. Um, as a teacher, you are going to make sure that your IMs measure how well students are learning and retaining information from the instructional material that you are making. Then we have the evaluation. The evaluation based on the data analysis make an overall evaluation of the instructional material including its suitability for the intended audience and its effectiveness in achieving the desired learning outcomes. Yes, in making instructional material, you are going to decide if the material is appropriate for the student's grade level and abilities. And also, you are going to evaluate if the material helps students to help students achieve the desired learning outcomes. Then we have the recommendations. Provide recommendations for improving the instructional material if necessary. Describe the data collection and analysis methods used. Then, present the results of data analysis, highlighting the strengths and weaknesses of the instructional material. If the material lacks engagement, recommend incorporating more interactive activities. Then, if the content is unclear, suggest adding visual aids or providing additional explanation. Now let's proceed to the simple curriculum. It is one that is straightforward, easy to understand, and effectively guides teaching and learning. It typically focuses on essential concepts, skills, and objectives without unnecessary complexity or confusion. Straightforward outline of what student will learn in particular educational program course. It includes topics, objectives, and instructional method without unnecessary complexity or confusion. First is clear objectives. Start with the end in mind. What do you want your students to know and be able to do by the end of the course or subject area? Knowing what you want to your student to learn by the end of the course or subject. For example, in history class, your objective might be for student to understand the cause and effect of World War II. Yeah. Then we have the focus content. Break down the content into smaller, manageable chunks. This will help you stay organized and focused. As a teacher, you are going to break down the material into smaller parts for them to that will help you stay organized and focused. For example, instead of covering all the World War II in one lesson, you are going to focus on a specific battle or event like bombing Pearl Harbor. Oh, instead of covering the whole topic, you are going to chunks into or break down into smaller so that the students will learn makalearn yung bata na dahan-dahan. Yun lang. Next, we have the student organization. Be flexible. Be flexible. The curriculum is a guide, not a rigid plan. Make adjustments as needed to meet the needs of your students. As a teacher, you are going to be you will be organized and also be flexible. Have a plan for your teaching of what you are going to teach or what do you call that? What you want to teach, but be willing to adjust based on the needs of your student. As a teacher, you need to be flexible enough so that it is easy for you to adjust what is the needs of your students to cater their needs. Then we have the assessment alignment. Assessment methods are aligned with learning objectives and provide clear feedback to students on their progress and understanding. In the assessment alignment, make sure that the quizzes or projects match what is your what you've teaching. Excuse me. If you've been teaching on the Pearl Harbor in the World War II, your assessment should test students' understanding of what of that event rather than unrelated, 'di ba? Yung bata hindi makakasagot sa test mo or sa anong quiz mo kapag yung content ng quiz mo ay hindi naka-align sa tinuturo mo, 'di ba? Paano makakasagot yung bata kapag hindi nila alam na yung quiz mo ay wala sa lesson? So, as a teacher, you should make sure that your quiz or projects are aligned with the learning objectives. Then we have the engaging instructional methods. Use a variety of teaching methods. This will help you keep your students engaged in learning process. As a teacher, you are going to use different techniques or methods, teaching methods, to keep your student interested in learning. And also, for example, nag-teach ka ng PLE subject. So, para ma-engage yung mga bata, you should, for example, nag-teach ka ng mga bata, as a teacher, try to let them experience how to do the task. For example, magluluto sila ng kahit anong recipe. Then, teach them teach them how to cook that specific recipe para ma-experience nila kung paano magluto ng ganyang recipe. Um, Hindi lang sila ma-enjoy at also maka-learn din sila kung paano lulutuin ang ganyang recipe. Then we have the flexibility. While simple, the curriculum allows for flexibility to accommodate different learning styles, interests, and instructional context. Um, as a teacher, you need to adapt your teaching to meet the needs of diverse learners. Some might learn through hands-on activities, while others prefer reading or listening. As a teacher, you should be flexible enough to cater the needs of your students. You should not only focus in one activity, but also um, you should incorporate different activities to engage your learners to participate in the learning process. Then we have the steps in curriculum evaluation. Steps in conducting curriculum evaluation. A systematic enumeration of basic steps in evaluating curriculum was proposed by Grunland in 1968, which is summarized as follows. Number one is identification of instructional objectives or the exact learning resource desired. Here, the steps involve clearly that, defining what students are expected to learn from a particular curriculum. For example, the students will be able to explain how gravity affects or objects on Earth. And then next is, if necessary, operational statement of this objective, that is a specification of the process and content element in case instructional objectives are not precisely stated. If instructional objectives are not precisely stated, this step involve breaking down objective into specific process and content element. It clarifies what exactly student needs to learn. For example, specify that students need to understand the concept of gravity, knows its formula, and be able to apply it. To solve a problem. Then, number 3, selection of instrument for measuring or description of learning results expected. Choosing as a teacher, you need to choose appropriate tools or methods to assess whether students have achieved or achieve the instructional objectives. For example, select a combination of quizzes, experiments, final projects to assess student understanding of gravity. Then we have the administration of the instrument and analysis of the data of the outcomes to determine the extent to which the expected learning results have been attained. These steps involve implementing the chosen assessment methods and analyzing the results to determine the extent to which students have achieved the instructional objectives. For example, after teaching unit of gravity and administering quizzes, the teacher reviewed the student performance to see if they have demonstrated an understanding of the concept, its formula, and its application in solving problem. And that's the steps in conducting curriculum evaluation. That's all of my report. Thank you for listening. That's all.